Now, councils in England want all disposable and single-use e-cigarettes or vapes to be banned across the UK by next year. The local government association says they're a health and environmental hazard. Well, our correspondent Milena Veselinovic is here with me and has more on this. So tell us a little bit more about what's behind this move to try to ban vapes or disposable ones.
Well, the councils say that there are 1.3 million vapes discarded each week. Obviously, it's a littering problem. But environmentally, they say because they're created as a single unit, you can't remove the plastic to recycle it. So it has to be done to a special process, which is very costly. It's a cost to the taxpayer. They also say that these batteries, which are lithium batteries, are prone to overheating when they're crushed, for example, in a bin lorry. So they could use a fire, which is obviously very hazardous. They're also quite concerned about some of the marketing tactics, potentially making them more appealing to children with bubblegum flavours and fruit flavours. So they want that to be stopped as well. Now, on the other hand, you've got the UK Vaping Industry Association saying that actually vapes help people who smoke to quit smoking. And we know that obviously smoking nicotine is far more harmful. Now, they released a statement in their defence, so I'm going to read you some of that statement, saying, experience across the world shows that where blanket bans have been introduced on regulated single-use vapes, there is a massive influx of illegal, untested and potentially deadly black market products which take their place, and this is in nobody's interest. It also makes absolutely no sense to call for a ban on disposable vapes while ignoring the much bigger problem of smoking and its related litter, which accounts for 68% of all litter in the UK, and discarded cigarette butts alone cost local authorities £40 million a year to clean up. Just to also mention that the councils want this ban fairly swiftly up to next year because France, for example, is banning single-use vapes at the end of this year. The EU is considering a ban by 2026 potentially, so they're worried that all these manufacturers might flood the UK market then.
OK, Milena, thanks very much indeed. So those are some of the issues. Let's talk then to Conservative councillor for Taunton, David Fothergill. And David Fothergill, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're also chairman of the Local Government Association's Community Wellbeing Board. Is that right? So this is obviously an issue that you're particularly interested in. Tell us a little bit about why you want disposable vapes banned.
Well, good morning, Anna. I think a lot of the issues have just been covered, but let's be clear from the start. The LGA are not against vaping at all. Vaping is a really good way to stop people from smoking. It's a good alternative. And for those people that have got a habit of smoking, then vaping is a really good way out of that. But for younger people and for other people, they're now using disposable vapes as a really cheap way into smoking and creating a nicotine habit. So we're concerned that there is a health issue, that they are buying these and they are developing that habit at a very early developmental age. And you've also heard about the littering problems as well, in so much as 1.3 million of these are thrown away every week. Now, they're not all going on the floor, but if they were, it would cover 22 football pitches. It is a huge problem.
Well, yes, and just to deal with we'll come on to the kind of littering and recycling issue in a moment, but the health issue, the vaping industry say that they help smokers quit, and they also say that because they're low price and they're accessible, they do have helped bring UK smoking rates to an all-time low. And cancer research, I notice, say that while e-cigarettes aren't risk-free, the research shows so far they are less harmful than smoking.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are a smoker, converting to vaping, refillable vapes is a really good option for you. We'd encourage everybody to do that. But there's a very big difference between refillable vapes and disposables, which are used as a single-use product. And that's where the concern is, because they are much cheaper. They're marketed, particularly at young people. They're called by very interesting names that young people find attractive, and the packaging is very attractive. There is a real pull. There is almost a sort of habit-forming pull here to get young people into vaping, it is nicotine. Let's be right about this. It does contain nicotine, which does enter into the bloodstream and therefore enter into the nervous system as well.
OK, and what about this sort of littering and recycling angle to it? Because we heard just a little bit earlier that statement from the vaping industry saying that, you know, that the litter-related problems associated with smoking are much worse. And they say as far as the environmental impact goes, the overall used vapes are highly recyclable. It's just a question of educating people on how to do it.
Well, you could always say it's going to be worse than it actually is, but our role is to ensure that people are protected as much as they can be from these single-use vapes in terms of form and habit. But disposing of them, as I said, 1.3 million a week of them are disposed of. Now, many of them disposed of sensibly and into the recycling or into rubbish, but many are thrown onto the floor, and that's where there's a problem for communities, a real issue. But those that do go into recycling, they contain lithium batteries. Those lithium batteries are captured within plastic. We can't get to them, and as they get crushed into machinery and they get crushed at recycling centres, that can cause fire for us. So we have to treat them very, very carefully. It's a very expensive way to do it. I also heard the statement about if you ban these single-use products, you'll just get a flood of illegal products coming into the country. Well, that's our problem to deal with, and we will deal with that through trading standards as we do with everything else. But that is not a reason to keep these products on the market, which really do encourage youngsters into smoking, into a nicotine addiction, and also they do cause this littering problem for most councils.
Councillor David Fothergill, really interesting to have you on this morning. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.